Bitcoin tops $60,000, nears records high. Remember when El Salvador adopted Bitcoin and the price went down and the mainstream media made everyone think that the experiment was over? It's not over. People that got free money from El Salvador are in the black. Square, who invested heavily into Bitcoin, in the black. And I hear Tesla's about doubled up on their billions and billions that they put into Bitcoin. The price is up and everything is good from now until forever. Josh Segala, what do you think about Bitcoin breaking 60K again?
Again, yeah. I mean, it's the typical modus operandi of Bitcoin. Shake out the weak hands. I really feel that the El Salvador move was to basically punish El Salvador and make them look like idiots. It happened pretty much on the day, but it was at the similar time that that Coinbase listed. So I think there was sort of a pump leading up to the Coinbase listing, and then there was a natural market correction and a little bit of yeah, probably large banking elite crushing it a little bit too, just to because El Salvador, even though it's a tiny little country, the fact that they are making a legal tender, it's a big, it's a big move. It's a big move. Even though that they're doing it pretty badly, I got to say, it's like centralized and you sort of have an IOU of it. It's not the best way of doing it, but it's an initial step. It's a foot in the door. And so yeah, and Bitcoin price always comes back up. It has since day dot, when it went up to $30 and everyone laughed because it went back down to $1. When it went up to 100, and then everyone laughed because it went back to 30. And then when it went up to 1,000, everyone laughed, and then it went back to 30. Like it just keeps doing that. And I don't know when people are going to learn. I mean, most people, what they do is they get in at the top because that's when all the news and everyone's laughing about it, and saying, wow, this is amazing. And they get in at the top and then it crashes. And then they suffer for a while and they learn about holding. And then it starts to cruise up and they hopefully haven't sold, because sometimes you have to sell. And so yeah, it's just bound to happen, isn't it? Bound to happen.
Ben Ark, Bitcoin 60K again.
Yeah, it's just so many different variables. Like, and when the price, when we had that Elon pump and then the Elon dump, like the Elon pump felt very synthetic and like it was in no way justified the huge price gains we made. And then the crash, it was like, oh, okay, now we're going to go back down to the sort of level we should be at. But then we had the El Salvador stuff, and now we've got the favorable context from the US, which is coming out. So there's just so many different variables, which is just giving it lots of upwards momentum, and it'd be very hard to suppress it. And I do think as well, like a lot of people, because Bitcoin has pumped hard, like in 2017, like a lot of normal people now have a I could have bought and I almost bought Bitcoin story. And now they're seeing the price go up and they kind of wish that they did buy it and they did hold it. So there's a large proportion of the population now which have more of an understanding that holding Bitcoin is quite an adrenaline ride, but it's something you have to do for a period of time and not just be trigger happy on your buy and sells, which is good as well for the price. There's just so many variables. And I like if the El Salvador thing went wrong, and the experiment failed in some way, which it could. I don't really see how, but it could really fail. Like Bukele runs off with all the money. Then there'll be some some FUD. Some of the press will be perhaps. I mean, I don't even know. Some of the press will be like, oh, what do you expect if you use Bitcoin as a currency? This is what's going to happen. Some officials just going to run off with all the money because it's like a bear asset. But I don't think that would bring the price crashing down. I mean, I would have said that it would, when the El Salvador news first hit. But now with all this coverage from things like the Bank of America thing and the ETF and just like you say with the Tesla and all these big companies holding Bitcoin as well. I don't know. It doesn't feel like one thing could bring it down. You need them to collectively all work together and FUD at the same time in order to bring the price down. So yeah, we're just going to keep going up, and then it's clear skies. Once we break the all-time high, it could go anywhere, couldn't it? I mean, I think the original target was what, $220,000. And I guess we're still on target for that, before maybe a reversal to like $100,000 or something. But that was the original target. So yeah, it's just going to go up. You're muted, Thomas, you amateur.
I have 2 mute buttons. I saw a great tweet that was highlighting an old tweet from a few years ago, and the guy had said something like, "Oh, it's a good thing I didn't buy Bitcoin at $2. It sure went down after that." And then someone had said to him, "How's this guy doing? Is he still alive?" And the guy wrote back, "I'm alive, but dead inside." And I think Ben's right. I think a lot of people have that story now. A lot of people are like, my cousin was into Bitcoin. He told me about it and I didn't buy it. And they don't mean 2013 or 2010 or what we think of as early to Bitcoin. They're like, oh no, 2017, 2018. I mean, I heard about that early pandemic, and then now late pandemic, you're saying it's 60K. It's crazy. It's madness. Speaking of madness, I've been able to locate the Bitcoin predictor ball, the source of all truth in our universe. This is the only predicting tool that you need to understand the Bitcoin market. So
I heard that you captured the soul of Tone Vase and put it inside that little ball, and you can shake it and get the price.
There's a joke right there, and I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice. No, I hate that. The joke's right there. You're assuming he had a soul. But anyway, I know it's right there. How can you not? Like, it's like Zoom. But let's go down the line. Dan, Eve, higher or lower this time next week, and then you'll have to predict against the ball, the source of all truth.
I'm going higher, and I'm going for a nice, sexy figure of 69K.
Josh Agala, Dan's going with perhaps 69,420, the most popular number in all of Bitcoin.
Hey, 69. I'll go with that too. That sounds hot.
We've got a stack of 69s. Ben Ark, is it going to break that number?
69, sloppy 69.
And now the ball. Will the price of Bitcoin break 69,000, which is a funny number, next week? Contemplate and ask again. Concentrate and ask again. The ball is mysterious and does not always deliver. That's a good ball.